Got him.
Sea Striker presents Speckled Trout Fishing with native guide Brian Goodwin.
Hi, I'm Brian Goodwin, and welcome to a special presentation brought to you by Sea Striker on how to catch speckled trout. We'll be going over some of the best times and locations to find speckled trout, as well as some of the best ways to catch speckled trout. So let's get started. One way to catch speckled trout during the warmer months of the year is by using live bait. Sea Striker has all the tackle you need to make an effective live bait rig. The Sea Striker wide bend hook, Sure Strike monofilament line, and the Sure Strike pop and float combine in an effective combination for creating your own live bait rig. This is just a homemade rig. I'm using a Sea Striker wide bend hook, 10-pound test leader line, Sea Striker swivel, and a couple of split shots just to add enough weight to sink the live shrimp to the bottom. And what the popping cork does is it will float your bait up above the bottom and hopefully away from more of your undesirable type fish. Now this popping cork is made by Sea Striker, and as you can see it has a slot down the middle, and I don't have to change out rigs when using this popping cork. All I have to do is just place the popping cork on my line, put the stem back in to hold it in place, and bam, in just a few seconds I've changed my rig from a bottom rig to a float rig. Now one key with fishing with live bait is you want to use as little weight as possible, just enough to be able to cast your bait out and sink the live bait down to the bottom. And what we're using today in the way of live bait are live shrimp. An excellent bait during the late summer and fall for trout fishing, drum fishing, or flounder fishing. You can catch all three on live shrimp. And the way I hook my live shrimp are right through the tail, coming up just under the shell and up like that. The shrimp seems to stay alive very well, and when you pop your rig, the shrimp will pull in a more natural motion. Got my popping cork drifting back with the tide back here, and that helps us keep the bait up off the bottom, away from the trash fish. And there's something hitting it now. Got him. We're using our popping cork now, and we were drifting that live shrimp back with the current. It really is fun when you float your live bait on top. There we go. Nice and easy into the boat. And this is exactly how you want to get a trout hooked, is right there in the hard part of his lip. As you've seen, marsh creeks are good places to find speckled trout. Another way to catch speckled trout is with the Sea Striker Gotcha Soft Plastic. Let's go over how to rig this remarkable lure. Start with your Gotcha lead head and your Gotcha grub in this position. Thread the hook through the grub so that ultimately the bend in the tail and the bend in the hook are in the same direction. You can tie the Gotcha lead head and grub directly to your line without the use of a leader or swivel. And some people like to leave an open loop at the end of their line for added action. Now that you've seen how to rig the Gotcha Soft Plastic, let's go back out to the marsh and see how it works. The best time to fish your shallow marsh creeks and bays is the last part of an incoming tide, or the first part of the ebbing tide. Today, I'm going to be casting up towards the marsh and retrieving in a slow rhythmic pattern back towards the boat. Now I've casted back up toward the edge of the marsh, and I'm making a slow rhythmic retrieve back towards the boat, making a conscious effort to bring the lure back very slowly. Getting a bite. Got him. Nice speckled trout. Seems to be hooked well. With a good slow retrieve and a good hook set, you will usually have no problem getting a good hook set on your trout. This trout was hooked right in the bottom part of his jaw. When you're planning on catching and releasing your fish, it's a good idea to have a pair of Sea Striker pliers handy that makes hook removal a breeze. Marshes really are the best places to find speckled trout during the warmer months of the year. But when the water temperature starts to drop, structure like bridges and rock jetties are usually where you'll find more fish. What I'm going to be using to fish here is the new shrimp-scented gotcha grub in the traditional green color. I'm using it in conjunction with a 1/4 ounce lead head. We're fishing a rising tide today, and what I'll be doing is casting my grub up into the eddy behind this cement structure. I'm letting the grub sink to the bottom and working it back towards the boat with a slow, rhythmic retrieve, making it a point to twitch the grub every now and then. This gives the grub a little bit of extra action and can help attract trout to your bait. Got him. Got him on. Trout have very tender mouths, so you want to make sure and keep your drag set fairly loose to avoid pulling the hook out of the trout's mouth before you boat him. This trout's fairly small, so I'm going to make it a point to be very careful with him when I'm removing the hook, and also to release the fish. Just released a small trout, and there's one thing I want you to keep in mind. Sea Striker makes a wide variety of grub colors and grub sizes, as well as lead head colors and lead head sizes. If you're not catching trout with the one you're using, switch up and try different colors or different size jig heads. It may be just the key to trout fishing success. As you can see, we've got some company over here by the bridge today. Bridges and jetties during the fall time of the year are often very popular spots for catching schooling trout. Oh, got one on. Got a good fish here. There he is up to the side of the boat. Got him hooked really well here. Nice trout. If you're not planning on eating your fish, it's always a good idea to make sure you catch and then release. I hope you've enjoyed this special presentation brought to you by Sea Striker. Keep in mind that Sea Striker offers a wide variety of gotcha jig heads and gotcha soft plastics, including the new natural shrimp-scented grub. I hope your next trip trout fishing will be both fun and productive.